What's up, everybody? So in this video, I'm gonna go over step one of how to use ClickUp full on to help out like a client or just make money online with project management in a sense. It's also a good skill just to have in general for any kind of job that works in either support or operations. So let's get right into it. Now, step one is going to be understanding the hierarchy of ClickUp. If you go on YouTube and search up how to use ClickUp, there's plenty of videos on there, and a lot of people have their own analogy of how to actually set up ClickUp in a sense, or how it works as far as the hierarchy goes. The best way I can explain is by giving you an example. So right here I have an actual, of course, little visual as you can see where I have the workspace as the income boost, which is my channel. And then typically your workspace is going to be your company. I have seen other people do it in different ways, like they have it based on a team. And then when their spaces, they have specific like goals and projects for that team. And then within that actual space, they have folders based on, of course, different factors, which can go into anything, right? But the easiest example I can give you is based on, like, let's say just onboarding an employee for, let's say, the channel, right? Meaning my channel. The workspace is going to be the company, which is the income boost. Space is going to be onboarding, and then we have folders. So just to kind of give you an idea, right? Let's go ahead and create it ourselves. So we can say the space is going to be onboarding. Press next. You can choose if you want to be private or available to everybody in the workspace. I'll choose private. You can always add people by email or just add them if you already had them added to your system. You can choose the statuses. I typically make it just custom. I don't really add it at the moment. I see what I need and then I go ahead and, of course, add it in later. So now we have onboarding. I'm gonna drag it up right here. I'll delete this list because we're not gonna be using it. So press delete. And then what I'll do is create a folder. And for the first folder, I can say, of course, role overview. What's cool is right here, you can decide also who has access to this folder, right? So let's say, for example, you make this role folder specifically to, let's say script or research, video research. Or you can say research team, just make it easier, research team. You can say, hey, I only want people who are actually going to be on the research team to see the specific folder. You can choose right here if you make it private or base it on specifically like individuals, right? So keep that in mind. And then once you press that, you can also add the statuses you want for. So I know with this one, I want to add custom. And I already have in progress because I added to my workspace, but I can say SOP. I'll make that one. I'm gonna make it yellow. And then let's say needs attention. Make that red. Press save. Press create folder. And now we have a list, and in that list, I can now say I want to have the role overview. And I can go ahead and press / or space / assign it to myself with just a little hotkeys. You'll get very familiar with all the hotkeys in this platform. Once you first join ClickUp, it gives you a lot of different prompts to make you understand how to use it. So keep in mind, you see me kind of moving fast right now, but it's just through experience. The bread and butter of using it as far as the shortcut is going to be through the / option. I can even choose my due date if it's not an actual numeric value, like it's just like more of a date within today, tomorrow, this Friday, stuff like that. I could put this Friday, press enter, and I'll press save. Right, so now I have it available, and here now you can break down this role overview into either a just description, but sometimes I like to have mine broken down where it's easy to follow. So I might say, I'm gonna use a / option to show you guys again. / I'm gonna put a subtask, and it's going to be responsibilities. Did I spell that right? I hope I did. And then you'll see right here, it adds it right here. So this is a subtask within a task. So you just copy here to kind of give you the same prompt, but now you'll only add to do items, not another subtask or another sub menu essentially. And I'll come back in here and then I'll do another / I'm gonna say subtask is gonna be performance metrics. And now you have another one. And then below that, you'll have, let's say, I think that should be it, this for example. So when you come in here, now you can go ahead and add like, of course, kind of your headline. So you can put like /H for heading 1. And then you could say the general requirements, or you could say requirements. Kind of making it like it's a resume in a sense, or like a job posting, but it's not. And you'll just break down essentially the responsibilities however you want to. This is just kind of give you an example of how I would break it down as far as the actual hierarchy from the folder to a list to task and then subtask. Just going with the example also of like what I have here in Canva. So after you start making these different things, and of course you decide if you're gonna have multiple roles, which most times you will have on a team that needs to be onboarded, you can make it where it's certain like list, or if you make it where it's a folder, but I usually do it by a list, which is a little bit more tedious, but it just works out that way. You also can organize it differently where you don't have an actual space as onboarding, and you make it like, let's say, for example, a folder, and that folder has different lists specific to the role. So let me just show you. This can make it easier for you to actually have the sharing permission set up differently. So instead of me having like this, let's say I add another folder, right? I can do onboarding. And then of course you'll just keep it where everybody who's added to this specific space will have access to it. Create the folder. And now you can have like, let's say research team. And then you can have script creator, video editor. And then in here, you can now have the breakdown of, you can say like, for example, subtask can be role overview. And enter, you can have then subtask training. And then again, one more subtask, you can put this as company resources. So this can be easier for most people, and I do like this a little bit actually. I'm thinking about it right now. And when you do that, you now can break down each individual subtask by the actual content itself. So boom, for example, I did the same thing for overview. I'm not gonna do it again, but you'll get it. And that is basically it for, the idea of the hierarchy. Once you get into understanding how it works, setting up due dates, and even syncing it with other things as far as like other topics I'm going to talk about in later videos, you'll get the point of how it all comes together. One thing I'm also going to give in this intro video is that you can switch up your view to like board, for example. So if you want to have it like this, where you kind of see essentially it in a list view rather than, or not list view, actually that's list is here, but more of like a visual board view where you can drag it over depending on, the content itself. This kind of folder essentially wouldn't be anything that you're actually completing as a task, but rather you're having it just as kind of items for people to go through as a walkthrough. When you have actual like day-to-day tasks that you're creating, if it's like weekly, because you can do that as well, like set up recurring tasks that be completed, then if you have the board view, you can say, okay, I completed my task, I'll drive it over to complete. You can add statuses in there to make it where you have different ways to visualize where you're at as far as that specific workflow. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to make this video too overwhelming or make it where it's too much content. I want you kind of to digest it easily. And the next video, we're going to go over essentially some kind of different changes you can make to make it where it's easier to understand ClickUp, talk about your notifications, different ways to have it synced up to your calendar. And also on top of that, even get it to the point where you can have recurring tasks and even automations and stuff like that. So it's going to be kind of like the nitty gritty. If you have any questions or concerns, leave it in the comments, and thank you for watching.